Hey, what's up guys? I'm going to do my June TBR. I've never done a TBR monthly like this. I've only had a never-ending TBR where I find a book, it looks interesting, maybe I like it, maybe it's popular, and I just add to my never-ending TBR list. This time I want to do a monthly one because I'm really a mood reader. I usually, once I finish a book, I'm trying to see what I'm in the mood for next. So we're going to see if I stick to this June TBR. But the reason why I wanted to do this is because I wanted to. I wanted to do this, and I wanted to do all Black authors, Black stories, and I wanted to do multiple genres. So I'm talking about nonfiction, sci-fi, fantasy, YA, romance, thriller. We have all of that. So we're going to see if I actually complete this June TBR, but at least if you haven't heard of these books before or you're thinking of something new, maybe in a different genre, hopefully this could give you some inspiration. And yeah, so reason for June is because, again, I just wanted to. Juneteenth is also this month. This is also how I started becoming an avid reader more consistently, is because last year in October I wanted to read or listen to audiobooks and see if I liked audiobooks, and I wanted to do like spooky books by Black authors. So all of the books I listened to in October were by Black authors, had Black representation. So I wanted to do the same thing in Juneteenth. And this kind of leads me into the first book, which is nonfiction. I'm not sure how many of you guys know about like the Tulsa Race Massacre or the Tulsa Race Riot, but that happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I'm pretty sure, my memory's kind of bad, y'all, but I'm pretty sure, even though I was born and raised here, I don't really remember an extensive history lesson over that happening in 1921. So that happened over the course of May 31st to June 1st, which I thought perfect timing. And the book that I wanted to read is called Blackbirds in the Sky by Brandy Kober, the story and legacy of the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. Yes, so this actually got a 4.26 rating on Goodreads, and I don't read nonfiction that often, but I really wanted to get into it. So this is probably the first book that I'll read for June. I really wanted to read this. I think it's an important story, an important part of our history, because, you know, Greenwood, that was known as like the Black Wall Street, and an angry white mob tore that down. So it's important to kind of learn about that. So I wanted to start out with that. The next one I wanted to read is a fantasy. It's a sci-fi dystopian adult fantasy. You probably saw this book in my last vlog where I did my first solo bookstore vlogging, and it is Womb City by Tulolo. I don't know, y'all. I'm just really excited about this book, about this novel. It's dystopian, and it's something about motherhood and duties, and I'm gonna try to just put the blurbs on the screen because some of these blurbs I can't quite remember exactly what's going on. I just know I want to read it. Rated 3.22 on Goodreads, only a little over 1,000 ratings. It is on Kindle Unlimited, which I was really happy to find out. So I want to kind of read this also pretty quickly, because if I love this book, then I can get the hardcover from Barnes & Noble. This released January of this year. So yeah, this was like a recent TBR ad, and I cannot wait to read this. It just looks so interesting. The blurb that I did read sounded really good, and why not? Now this next one is, I think a lot of you guys might know what this is. It is a YA fantasy as well. The last one was adult fantasy, sci-fi dystopian. This is YA, and this is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. First off, take a look at this cover. Take a look at the cover. This is a book that I usually see on people's bookshelves. I see it in multiple versions. Like they have the hardcover, then they have the paperback, then they have the special sprayed edges. Like people really love this series, the Legendborn Cycle series. I already have Bloodmarked as well. It's right up here. I also have Bloodmarked as well. This has been on my physical TBR for a little bit now. I can't quite remember what it's about, but I put the blurb on the screen, and I just look at this. This one has been stalking me. So every time I go to a bookstore it's like this or Blood Mark catches my attention. I keep looking at it, I keep gravitating towards it. It's like, buy me, read me. And so then I did. So I got the hardcover version. I think I like my fantasies in hardcover if I can help it. So I'm really excited to read this. I think this is going to be such a good series. I have such high hopes. So that's another one. Next up, we have romance. I'm going to go ahead and do romance right now. This is also on Kindle Unlimited. This is the second in the Rise and Fall series. If you know, you know. This is by A.E. Valdez, Colliding with Fate. I loved the first one. I loved All I've Wanted, All I've Needed. That is one of my favorite 5-star. And I started this book in May, but there's no way I was going to finish it because I had an arc come through that I really wanted to finish before the end of the month. And I only got to like chapter 2. So this is on Kindle Unlimited, but I do have the physical version here. This is by Kyrell and Quinn. We learn about them in the first one, like they're friends of Harlow and Ace, and you know, you're introduced to them in the first book, but the first 2 chapters already got me intrigued, already got me hooked, line, sinker, okay? Because you find out so much about Kyrell. You already know about his relationship with his parents. You figure out who his like chosen family is. You see the dynamics of a character, and I think that's what I really like about romance. There has to be multifaceted characters. It has to be complex. It can't just be, there's nothing wrong with like a fluffy romance, but that's typically not what I go towards, at least not all the time. So this one is really, it's already good. I'm only at chapter 3, but I'm planning to read this one this month as well. And like I said, this is on Kindle Unlimited. So read the first one though, and then grab this one. Okay, next we got thriller. Am I missing anything? No. Okay, had to double check. Now we have a thriller. Okay, I love thrillers because I have to get to the bottom of it. I think that's why I like thrillers, because it's shocking and I just have to get to the bottom of it. But I also am liking fantasy, as you can tell, because of the action, of the storyline. I feel like, I don't know, it's not just the same old stories or not the same old tropes. But anyways, the next one is, this author actually is the one that ruined me, because ever since I read her book When No One Is Watching, I have been an avid reader ever since. So I guess she got me out of my reading slump. But this is one of her newer releases. It's a thriller, and it's called One of Us Knows by Alyssa Cole. And this has dissociative identity disorder in here. So I think it's going to be a different thriller than the last one. I think she even mentioned that. I think she was like, if you think there's going to be When No One Is Watching Part 2, you're wrong. It's a different thing. But I'm really excited to read this thriller. This came out April 16th of this year. But like I said, she was the author that got me out of my reading slump that lasted for years. And I'm so happy about that. So this is what I'm currently reading, or what I'm going to read in June. Yeah, that's really it. That's all I have scheduled for this June. I usually only read 4 books a month. I think this last month though I read 6 and I DNF'd one. But I usually only read 4. We have about 4 or 5 here. And so let me know if there's any books that you love by Black authors that got your 5 stars. Leave them in the comments down below, because I want to continue to read those. I also read other diverse books like LGBTQIA representation as well. I read everything. Like I don't think there's a book or anything. The more diverse it is, the happier I am with it, the more it adds to the story, whether that's with chronic illness or race or anything. So leave all your recommendations down below of your 5-star reads. And let me know if you read any of the ones that I have mentioned. How did you feel about it? Don't put any spoilers, okay? I want to go in as blind as possible. But let me know if you liked any of the books I mentioned. And yeah, I hope you liked this video. Make sure you thumbs it up, leave me a comment. Until next time, peace out.